Hey guys, my name is DJ and welcome to my spoiler review for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's right, this is my spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend you go check it out before coming back here, leaving a like, and listening to what I have to say. Now, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm probably going to sound like a lot of other reviewers when talking about this movie because I think a lot of people are kind of in agreement when it comes to this movie. Wow, Jonathan Majors is really cool as Kang, and then I've got some stuff to say. That's kind of what it feels like from a lot of reviewers at this point, and I'm kind of the same way. However, I do have some other things that I liked and disliked about the movie, so if you're new to these reviews, let me break it down. What we do is we've got the pros and then we've got the cons. Okay, we got two different sections for the video, so if you're just a hater and you want to hear all the negative stuff I have to say, click on the timestamp on my titties. Otherwise, here are the good things I have to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. First off, I will say that in terms of the quantum realm, you know, the place we spent about 75% of the movie in, I liked it. I thought it was a very interesting little world that we got to saw. It does kind of lose its charm that it had from the first movie where you enter the quantum realm and it's almost this like weird void. I kind of prefer that version of the quantum realm where everybody's kind of floating, everybody's really confused, and nothing makes sense. Whereas in this movie, it feels kind of like, I almost want to say Avatar-like, with its almost Earth-like basis, where everything is a plant, but the plant is slightly different. You know, like the sky is orange, but everything is kind of the same. Civilizations are kind of the same, but I do wish it was a little bit different. But otherwise, I thought the quantum realm was a pretty fun and interesting setting for this entire movie. And with that more Earth-like tone of the quantum realm that it gained throughout this movie, it did introduce a lot of interesting side characters. For instance, the little red dude. Everybody loves the little red dude. If you don't like the little red dude, I'm sorry, you don't have a soul. That dude is like one of my top 5 MCU characters now, and I'm like only half joking. That dude is awesome. I also thought seeing Bill Murray was cool. Also, I thought he had a very interesting kind of character, being this representation of just the entire quantum realm subjugated by Kang, where I guess he used to be a rebel alongside Janet, who I will talk about more in a little bit, and then just over time you can see that he has just become a victim of the cog of how the quantum realm works now under Kang the Conqueror. And of course, that fight he used to have within him, that spirit, came a lot, I assume, from Janet, who, in my opinion, is actually like a low-key show stealer in this movie. I mean, obviously, Kang is the show stealer of this movie. We all know that. But Janet is kind of number 2, which I did not expect coming into this movie. But she really has an interesting story where she just has so much PTSD from her time in the quantum realm that she initially did not want to talk about it. She was like, let's leave that shit in the past. We need to keep that a mystery because there are things down there that are scary. And just watching everything kind of unfold, all of these little secrets about Janet being revealed over time, I thought it was very interesting. And talking about the Pyms, I think her husband was also pretty cool. He didn't really do a whole lot, but I'm mainly referring to the idea of his ant colony becoming a civilization. I love the idea of like a species. If you give any species enough time, they will become intelligent. I don't know, I just thought that was cool in my opinion. But let's finally get to who you want to talk about. Jonathan Majors as Kang. It's perfect. It's perfect. He is now the most interesting character in the MCU for me. Kang is really going to be an incredible force to watch over the next couple years, however long the Kang story lasts. However, with Jonathan Majors absolutely crushing this movie, why don't we talk about the stuff that kind of made me feel a bit crushed in this movie? Because there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I really didn't like that much. It kind of pains me to say that because Ant-Man Quantumania was one of those movies that I thought was going to be something really, really excellent. And there was just a lot of stuff in it that I didn't like. For one, I didn't really like the fact that Hope Van Dyne got nothing to do in this movie. That's kind of become her story throughout the MCU, is the sidekick who does nothing. I mean, obviously, Ant-Man is the bigger hero, the bigger star, Paul Rudd, obviously, but it sucks that she didn't get to do anything. I also think a lot of this movie felt really forced. Things like Cassie being able to just build a quantum mechanic machine that teleports us to the quantum realm, it just feels really forced, especially considering she's like a college student. Like, I get it. I get you have to get there, but if you just said Hank did that, it would make a lot more sense to me. But something that I actually thought was gonna feel way more forced than it was the introduction of Modoc into the MCU. And I don't like him. To be fair, I did actually like the thought process of the Yellow Jacket character, Darren, is that his name? Daniel? Something like that. I like the idea of him becoming Modoc just because he got shrunk down so much and his body was so broken that, of course, he's just a giant head. I get it. It makes sense. The Modoc effect doesn't look very good. Like, I get it, you worked with what you had, but it just doesn't look very good. But I did like the backstory of him becoming Modoc. Even though I think the character of Modoc really just sucked so much ass in this movie. Like, I get it, Modoc is just a big, dumb, floating head with guns attached to him, so he was always gonna be dumb, but, like, you couldn't do anything even remotely serious with this guy. It just baffles me. He was the second in command to Kang the Conqueror. Really? Instead of making Kang feel even more serious by having this ultra serious monster weapon of destruction, he just has a clown as his sidekick? It didn't feel right. And the last negative thing I really have to say about this movie is Kang's suit. Now, I get it. It was lifted from the comics, and people really wanted it. But now that we've seen it, can we take it away? I don't love the suit, man. It's the blue face. It's the blue face. I even remember watching the trailer and thinking, wow, his blue face looks really weird. I'm sorry. Maybe keep the rest of the suit, but the blue face, I'm just not a fan of it. But yeah, with all of the positives, all the negatives, what's going to be my official rating? It's going to be a 5.5 out of 10. Like, this is Jonathan Majors' coming out party as Kang the Conqueror, and he did an excellent job. That he is the reason why that 0.5 is there. It feels like a movie that, when looking back at the MCU, once we get to Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, it's a movie that, when looking back, we're going to think, wow, that was really cool. But until we get to that point, man, it's a 5.5. But that's going to be it for my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I want to hear what you guys have to say when it comes to this movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But until next time, have a good day. Bye-bye.